Today, I want to tell you something that's going to change your life. And I'm not exaggerating here. This is a tool that I only became aware of this year, and it's already changed my life multiple times and changed my relationships completely. And if you've been hanging out with me, you know that I am on the road to redemption. I've got the redemption retreat going, got the redemption WhatsApp group going, got the road to forgiveness in my heart and online and in my conversations with pretty much everyone I speak to. And the idea behind forgiveness just keeps on growing. It's growing in ways that I never imagined. I once saw this infographic that really helped me. It says something like this. See if you can imagine this. Bunch of dots, gray dots, and then the dots were called data. It said, okay, data. Then a few of the dots were lit up and it said information, when the little pieces of random data become cohesive information, right? Then it had lines connecting the information and it said knowledge. Ooh, now it's getting interesting. You start to put together different pieces of information and you get knowledge. Then you start to see in the last frame how all of this knowledge is connected and interconnected. And that's called enlightenment. That's when it gets amazing. And in a crazy way, I feel enlightened. I feel like everything that I've learned is now connecting. Click, click, click. All the things that I'm working on, all the self-awareness stuff, all the self-development stuff, all the Amuna and faith stuff, it's all just coming together. All the relationship stuff, even all the narcissism stuff, everything that I've been talking about and thinking about and working on is coming together in just a way that I can only describe as enlightenment. And the most amazing part about this is, first of all, being able to share it and share my experience and work through it with other people through their experiences, but also to notice that I'm not alone in this. I'm like, we are on the train to redemption, the whole of humanity. And guys, I'm telling you, you might not realize it, but the world is different. It's so different, even this last year than it was before. Much more enlightenment is available. Much more Amuna is available. It's at our fingertips. And for sure, since Rosh Hashanah, we're in an entirely new era. And I call this the era of redemption. This is my visual. I'll share my brain with you. My visual looks like this. I'm on a train. I'm not the driver of the train. I'm just on a train, and the train is moving and people are getting on the train. So I might have shared this visual with you before. It's so clear to me, and I'm watching people just hopping on the train, and the train is to redemption, personal redemption, the redemption of forgiveness. So along the road to forgiveness, towards the end of, one chapter of my journey, because it never really ends, I became aware of a superb tool for relationships. Superb, so beautiful you could kiss it. And it is called the P.I.E.S model, and it was taught to me at my own retreat by one of my fabulous, delightful friends, Ruti Schell, or Rivka, who learned it from the call of the shofar. So of course, she learned it from the call of the shofar. I'm learning it from her, so I'm like third-hand information. So you'll have to bear with me that I'm coming at it from myself. I'm not coming at it from the original source. But better you should have it from me than not have it at all. And I can tell you that I've already applied it, so it's real and it works. So there we are. We're sitting in our retreat. This was just in November. And the retreat is kind of interesting because we have a schedule, but it's also a healing retreat. So there's a fluid nature to it. What do the people need now? What's the energy in the air? What is the thing that this particular group of people need? So we have a little staff meeting and, just assess, like, where are we up to? Where are people up to? And on this past retreat, Rivka says, we got to teach the P.I.E.S model. I'm like, what is that? So she tells me, and I'm like, oh, you must. And then she got up and did an extraordinary job of giving it over. And what she actually did is she brought together two people on the retreat that had conflict and had them work it out in real time with everyone there in a safe way using this model. Now, the conflict was very, very minor, but you know how it is. You get together 30 people, there's going to be roommate issues or food issues, little bits of issues, and How do you deal with these issues? So I am going to teach you the P.I.E.S model right now, and it can change your life today. And then hopefully I'll tell you a couple of stories and scenarios how I used it and amazing things that happen, okay? So take notes if you're a note taker. If not, it's really easy. It's called P.I.E.S because that's an acronym. Okay, put your learning brain on. Here it goes. P.I.E.S. That stands for physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual. Okay, so let's say someone does something to you that you're not very happy about, or does something that you're not very happy about. And we're going to keep it really super duper simple, okay? Pardon me. Super simple is you went with a friend to a wedding. You planned on going together. You were excited to go together. And then you got to the wedding and off she flitted and went to speak to other people. And you spent like most of the wedding just wondering, where's my date? Where's my friend? Like, I'm by myself here, you know? And you're upset. You're upset. Your feelings are hurt. You're disappointed. All kinds of things are going on. So what is a way that you can actually share this upset with another person in a way that will help the relationship? Now, this model of communication is founded on a fact/theory that, well, I guess it's a fact, that we are all in our own reality. Okay? What you feel and where you are in a situation is real to you. And where the other person is in their life, in their situation, is real to them. So often we'll come in and say, you know, where were you at the wedding? You didn't give me company. We planned on coming together. We were supposed to sit together. At least we should dance together. Something should happen. And instead you ran off and left me there. I don't even know if you want to be my friend. And, you know, what did you expect? That's your reality. That other person has another reality, obviously. Otherwise they would have been sitting right next to you. Maybe their reality is, wow, going with a friend means you have someone to walk in with, someone to check in with if you need to, but a wedding is full of a zillion people and you get to say hi to everyone. And afterwards you get to drive home together and recap about all the amazing people that you spoke to, and it's like they're a social butterfly and you're a one-on-one friend. Who knows, right? So you're in your own reality. So there's no point in saying, hey, you did something wrong to me, because what's going on over there? Like, the other guy's in their reality. How can you communicate your reality to them? Own your story. Be okay that your reality is your reality, but still get some understanding and conflict resolution. Do you hear what I'm saying? Because in all of life, we are constantly and consistently in different realities. You know, if your kid comes home and dumps his knapsack on the floor and then, you know, takes a bowl of cereal and leaves that out, and takes his coat off the hook and leaves that out, and that's how the day starts. Well, your reality is, I clean the house, you know, so that you could come home and everything could be nice, and you walk in the door and you throw everything down and you don't care about my mess. You don't care about the fact that I worked so hard. And you don't, you know, maybe I'm not doing a good enough job as a parent and I feel completely disrespected and I can't stand the mess and I can't stand that I'm the only one who cares about the mess. That's your reality. Well, what's the kid's reality? Kid's reality is, I'm home, I'm starving, I can't wait to do something because I've been spending this whole day in school. Plop, plop, plop. I don't even see the coat, I don't even see the briefcase, I don't even see the cereal bowl. I just want to eat and veg and do my thing and get on my bike and get out of here. That's the kid's reality, right? So, two different realities. Now, the P.I.E.S model is not for use all day, every day, because that would be an overuse of it. But it is for situations that are emotionally charged. So, your kid dumping his backpack on the floor may or may not be emotionally charged. At some point, it might be, right? Probably if your friend ditched you at a wedding, that might have a little bit more emotional charge to it. So here we go, we're heading in. P stands for physical. You first state the physical facts. So, when we planned on going to the wedding together, and then we went together, that would be the physical facts, versus when we went to the wedding together and I thought that you would be with me, but then you weren't with me. That's the facts plus a whole bunch of interpretations and stories. You want to stick with the facts. When you drop your briefcase on the floor when you come home, that's the physical facts. And if you practice this, which I hope that you do, you'll see how quickly we're quick to bring in our interpretation to the facts. It's a difficult exercise to just stick with the facts. When you didn't return my call, period. Not when we agreed that you would return my call and I really thought that you were going to, and then you didn't return my call and then you made an excuse about it. I mean, it doesn't have to be so short and concise. Short and concise is just one of the ways of kind of getting it down to the facts. But you want to start with the facts. So let's just start with the wedding, right? When we agreed that we would go together to the wedding, and we did go together to the wedding, okay, the facts. Now comes I in P.I.E.S. I is for intellectual. I is, and you can also remember I because it's about myself. This story I told myself. So here you are, and this is the really beautiful part. This is a part where you take, responsibility for your reality. You're not apologizing for your reality. You don't have to make yourself wrong. You don't got to make the other guy wrong. This is your story. There's no blame here. There's honest sharing. So you say your story, no matter how awful your story is. So you might want to say, the story that I told myself is that I was looking forward to us going to the wedding together. I thought that we would sit together, we would chat, we would catch up. It would be so much fun. I thought it would be like a reconnection. And then when you didn't hang out with me the whole night, the story that I told myself is that our friendship is really not that important to you and that you would rather be with other people. And I even told myself a story that I feel used, that you only wanted a ride with me in the car. And the story that I told myself is that I care more about this friendship than you do. Okay, there, you said it all. You got it out. It's so beautiful, though. You didn't say, you don't care about our friendship. Just, this is your reality. Hey, folks, we sometimes have horrible feelings. The stories we tell ourselves actually are very, very, very painful. And they do cause us a lot of pain. And sometimes that's the story. You don't care about the friendship. Then we move on to the E. P-I-E. Yeah, what's E? Physical. Emotional. Emotional. So with emotions, we are working only with the raw emotions, which are mad, sad, glad, hurt, and afraid. That's one configuration of raw emotions. We don't want to overcomplicate it. We don't say I was irritated and disappointed, because underneath disappointment is sadness. There's always, we want to deal with like the most pure emotions possible. And you can actually have more than one pure emotion. You can be mad and afraid. You can be sad and hurt, right? But we want to keep with mad, sad, glad, hurt, and afraid. Okay, so ready for the emotions? So you just said, I told myself, the story I told myself is that our friendship isn't as important to you as it is to me. Next step. I was sad and hurt. That's it. You're stating your feelings. You're just a human being. It's just your reality. The other guy's not responsible for your reality, but it is reality. I was sad and hurt. And now comes the really beautiful part. The S, the spiritual longing that you have for yourself. What I want for myself is to spend time with you and for our friendship to deepen. And what I want for myself is to know that you value our friendship as much as I do. Ta-da. That's it. Just sit with that for a minute. I'm going to do a quick review, and then we're going to kind of dissect the exquisite beauty that's going on here. Okay. If we did this scenario differently, it would look something like this. We went to the wedding together. Well, the first thing, I was silent for a minute because I was just thinking, like, how often do we not speak these things out? You get back in the car and you don't have any words to say because you don't want to hurt the other guy. And at the same time, you're really angry, but you're not comfortable with your anger, especially if you're a woman and you don't want to, like, rock the boat or mess with the friendship. So you're just like, where were you all night? And they're like, oh, I was dancing and I saw Sarah and I saw Shira and it was so much fun. Did you see how the bride looked? She looked so gorgeous. And you're like, yeah. And inside you're just angry, but you don't know how to say it and you're hurt and you don't know if you're allowed to be hurt. So one scenario that so often happens is no communication at all. Then you have distance in a relationship. And this happens all the time because we don't have non-blaming tools. So we think if I express myself, I'm blaming someone else and I'm going to be putting them down. So we don't want to do that. So we just repress it. So that's one scenario. Okay, second scenario that could possibly happen is blame. You get back into the car and you say, I'm fuming, I'm steaming mad, take me home right now. I can't believe what just happened. We said we're going together. I didn't even see you the whole night. And she says, what are you talking about? We walked in together. Anyway, I saw you when they were serving chicken and we passed and we danced together. What are you talking about? And you're like, no, you didn't even talk to me. You're talking to her and you're talking to her and you're talking to her. I mean, you just ignored me the whole night. Do you even want me to come? Why are you here? Get your own car next time. That's a pile of trouble, right? Just attack, defense. That's what's going to happen is attack and defense. And you have that scenario also. And then you have the P.I.E.S model. And the P.I.E.S model says, let's just repeat this in shorthand. And the shorthand goes like this. Hey, can we talk? Sure. Your friend says sure. Give her a heads up that like you're about to say something that matters. Because if it matters to you, you want to create a little space for yourself. Is this a good time to talk? And then you say your piece. When we went to the wedding together, the story that I told myself is that we would have time together and this would be a great time to catch up and cement our relationship. And when we didn't spend time together and you were off talking to so many other people and I didn't have your company in the seat next to me, how I felt was sad and hurt. Because what I really want for our relationship is that I know that I'm valuable to you and that you enjoy spending time with me. Ta-da! And she says probably, oh, I'm so sorry. Well, people don't always say I'm sorry, but even as I'm saying that, I'm feeling like I'm so sorry. I didn't realize, you know? And you can actually create a space to ask the other person, what is your reality? You know, please tell me what was going on for you tonight. And they might say, when we came to the wedding, you know, you can teach them the P.I.E.S model. That's a great thing to do in a relationship. I've actually had interactions where I told a person, I'm about to tell you something difficult. I'd like to tell you what the P.I.E.S model is so that we can use it in this conversation because it's a really hard topic, okay? And then I told them the P.I.E.S model, not in this much length, and then I expressed myself. And then basically, because it was kind of an arrangement, the other person had the opportunity to tell me that they heard me before saying their part. So they said, okay, so what I'm hearing from what you're saying is that when we came to the wedding together, I know this is very repetitive. Let me tell you why I'm repeating it so many times. Because I had an excellent teacher, RT, at our retreats. She's in general a very thorough person, and it's super important to her that everything be crystal clear, especially because you're dealing with matters of the heart. So you don't want to take any one of these steps and like do it a couple of degrees off, because then you have a nuance that turns into attack or turns into blame or turns into repression. So in my head, I have her repeating this again and again. And that's why you're getting this super clear version, which might actually be a good thing because I'm usually really quick. So hopefully you're with me. And now I forgot where I'm up to in my explanation. Oh yeah. Well, what you can do is if you're close with someone, you can create a dialogue where you share your feelings like this, and they know to check in with you and make sure that they heard you properly until you feel understood. You know, so what I hear from this is that you felt hurt and sad when I didn't spend time with you, because what you want is to know that I value our friendship. And when you really feel understood, then it can be their turn to talk and they can say what's going on with them. And when all this is done, you have the opportunity to make a request. So then you can say, how about when we go to weddings next time, or when we go somewhere next time, we have a little conversation about our expectations first. Because I see that, you know, our expectations might be different. You can do something like that. You can always make a request at the end. So with the kid, let's say it's really emotionally charged, with a kid with a backpack, then you could just say it in shorthand. You could say, sweetheart, I want to talk to you. Okay, fine. When you drop your backpack on the floor, the story that I tell myself is that you didn't notice all the work that I did in honor of your coming home to make a beautiful, clean house, and that you don't care about our beautiful, clean house, and that all the work that I do is for nothing, even though I do it with so much love for you. That's the story that I tell myself, and it makes me feel sad and also mad. And what I want is that we're a family that works together, that loves and appreciates each other and respects each other's hard work. I mean, a kid can handle that. So I'll tell you what this model is doing for me. What I want, what I really, truly, deeply want is shalom. I want shalom. You know, my friend Rivka, she's on this redemption ride with me. It's very exciting and amazing. She told me something wonderful. She said, I stopped using the words forgiveness and I just use the word making peace. Words making peace. I want to make peace with you. Because so often it's hard to know who's got to do the forgiveness. It's scary. Confrontation is scary. You don't want to make anyone feel bad. You don't want to be so vulnerable. Like, the whole thing is just fraught with so many questions of how to navigate it properly that what we end up doing is we avoid it. And then there's not shalom. There's not peace in relationships. There's all kinds of junk in relationships. I really want you to experience the kind of freedom that I'm experiencing. It's tremendously freeing. It's just, that's all the words that I have. It's just tremendously freeing. I found, like, even if the other person isn't completely receptive to your P.I.E.S, to your giving over your story, it's okay. It's okay. It's very valuable for you to be able to say your story and to not blame the other person. And maybe they don't have the emotional capacity to respond in kind, and that is okay. We're going to end over here with this awareness. The awareness that I want you to have is that there is an air right now of achdus, of unity. We all went through this big Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur bath together. We were all completely vulnerable before Hashem, and we're all completely starting anew. And it's an opportunity for increased closeness. And for me personally, I over the last bunch of months, it's an entirely new era. And I am collecting people who want to be on this road to redemption. I'm collecting you guys. People who want to do this work, who want to work in their relationships, work on themselves. I'm collecting you. I'm getting emails from you. Thank you. I want to hear how your Amuna is bringing you to forgiveness in your life and understanding that there's a bigger picture here and Hashem has a bigger plan in mind for you. I want to hear your stories of how you repaired relationships. I want to put them together in a book that will help other people. So please, number one, if you want to do this work, be in touch with me. Coach with me. Let's walk through it together. Let's coach together through your most difficult relationships. I'm here for you. Come on the redemption retreat. Let's have a good, crazy old time doing the work. Join the Art of Womanhood class, where you'll learn about boundaries and people-pleasing and save yourself from so much of this relationship drama. Or if you're already doing it on your own and you have this support, then please, please, please send me your stories. Tell me your stories. I must hear them. I want to hear them.